Howdy, partners, and welcome to Wasted Wagons. This is the rootinest, tootinest show this side of the Mississippi. This podcast is 10 pounds of crazy in a 5-pound sack. So butter me up and call me a biscuit, because you'll be as surprised as me to see what this posse of banditos has in store for you tonight.
Howdy, partners. On our last episode, we discussed some of our favorite Halloween candies. We're going to continue some Halloween talk today. Unfortunately, our big, the big finale of our last podcast, we ended up talking to Mike about, what his favorite NHL team was. He seemed to be kind of left out of the conversation a little bit, and he decided that he was going to make it his homework assignment to pick his NHL team. And to his credit, he's been keeping up with us, and he's been telling us that he's been doing his research on ESPN Plus, and he has actually picked the team. But unfortunately, Mike couldn't be present tonight, so we're going to have to wait to the next pod to actually do that. So filling in for Mike, we have a guest with us. We have Biff with us today. How you doing, Biff?
I'm doing excellent. I'm not as buttered as a biscuit like the intro, but I'm doing great. Longtime friend of the wagons here. And I'm also large like the other wagons, so it works out. Mike's not as large as I am, so anyway, enjoying the moment and happy to be here.
Yes, we are glad to have you, Biff. This has been a long time coming. I think you would have been a really good guest on our top 5 band segment that Patrick recently posted. That would have been a really good one up your alley. But like I said, we're going to actually continue talking about Halloween today because Sean's annual Halloween party just happened this past Friday. Does anybody want to talk about some highs and lows of what was experienced on Friday?
I would say the low would be that it was on Friday.
Yeah, well.
But that was the whole, I had a great time.
Unfortunately, with kids and obligations and crap like that, you can't miss the school trunk or treat for an adult Halloween party. Even though us parents make it into an adult Halloween party at school, Yetis go a long way, if you know what I'm saying.
That goes for like sporting events too. You gotta hide all that go-go juice.
Yeah, but you don't have the metal detectors at the door and shit like that.
I think Sean's Halloween party is pretty much one of the only days of the year where I consistently mix alcohol. I usually come with like a 6-pack of beer or a little mixed variety of beer. I made some pumpkin spice eggnog this year, Pat.
It was delicious.
Pat missed out on it, but everyone else, Biff enjoyed it. Travis enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Sean enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Dylan enjoyed it.
Everybody said good things.
So this tradition started at my tacky Christmas sweater party, where Todd decided he wanted to start creating his own homemade eggnog, and it actually became a hit. He did a really good job with we call it the original eggnog, and then he started actually buying Screwball peanut butter whiskey and then making peanut butter eggnog. Well, this was the first time he had actually tried pumpkin spice eggnog using Kavanaugh pumpkin spice Irish cream.
Giving you a shout out there, Kavanaugh. We might take some shots later, but it went well in the eggnog.
Not to cut you off, but we're talking about alcohol.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, we're talking about alcohol, but what are we drinking right now, though?
I am drinking. I know we spent a lot of our previous pods talking about the fact that we're in October, and usually that's kind of the best time of the year for Oktoberfest beers, which, by the way, I know Patrick, Todd, and I, along with Mike, went to Oktoberfest last weekend. That's something we could also talk about on this pod. But I am drinking the Oktoberfest put out by our local Zony Mash brewery. If you haven't had a chance to check out Zony Mash, it's actually a very cool setup. It's in an old movie theater in New Orleans. They actually have they play movies in there still on some nights of the week. They have bands play on stage. Biff, we actually went and saw Biff play at Zony Mash. Biff is a drummer.
The band Carolina, right?
The band Carolina, rest in peace.
Are they?
No longer together.
Biff had the best.
For now, are they on hiatus?
Biff had the best seat in the house.
Carolina still sings. Carolina still sings.
Yeah.
Just not with a band. And I'm not in it.
But you are pursuing a new band right now.
I'm in another band that might have been some of the drama, was that I was in 2 bands at once, and I don't think that was really it. I was just like we'd been doing it for a long time, and it was not really fun anymore, I guess, or I don't know. People just got tired of it. But But yeah, the other band is Nova Junction. We have a gig December 8th, Carrollton Station. Anyone out here in the podcast world, live in New Orleans, come out. Carrollton Station, it'll be fun. And yeah, it's a good time party music, man. Just like we have a song called Mile High Club, which we're recording. And and the song is about what you think it is. And it's a good time, party fun song. And we're going to be recording that in Lafayette in November. So.
All right. So look, Nova Junction, December 8th at Carrollton Station. If y'all are listening, come check it out.
Be there or be square. That's right.
But Biff, you didn't answer the question. What are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking Josh Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes, what?
It's Josh wine. It's the $10 bottle.
No frills, good solid bottle.
One notch above
Solid.
box wine.
Yeah,
It's black box is like right above, and then no, I'm kidding. No, it's good. It was at the house.
Well, as I mentioned, I made eggnog with this Kavanaugh pumpkin spice Irish cream for Sean's Halloween party, but I also mixed it with Tullamore Dew. The recipe requires 2 cups of whiskey. Since this already had Irish whiskey in it, I decided to buy an Irish whiskey to kind of cut it with. So I got the trusty old Tullamore Dew, recommended to me by Patrick when he bought me when he gave me the Tullamore Dew sweatshirt. So props to Patrick for that. But I'm actually mixing it with Pepsi Zero sugar because I'm a pussy and I don't So what I'm drinking is some Tullamore Dew mixed with some Pepsi Zero sugar.
Quite the mixologist.
Yes, you are.
Oh, only me left? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Patrick.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Patrick's just drinking Modelo.
Yeah. Shocking. I'm drinking Modelo for our podcast recording.
It's in this McDonald's cup.
But I also have a beer from Brash that I'm going to pop open later. It's my second beer. Get you guys a couple sample it. It's pretty solid.
Free samples.
Well, in honor of that it's not even Halloween yet, I'm drinking Largo Bay gingerbread spiced rum. It's very Christmassy.
Sounds amazing.
It actually is quite good. I'm surprised. And yes, I'm mixing it with Diet Coke because I do like to enjoy flavor. I'm not trying to burn my throat. It's all good.
Yeah. What shots did we do yesterday or Friday? We had
Pickle juice,
pickle vodka, and was something else?
I'll polish off my bottle of Jägermeister, but yeah.
Do we not still do? Is all the pickle vodka gone, or
Yeah,
do we still
that
have that
definitely
kicking
is.
around here?
Don't know.
No, that's
That's quite tasty. It's not,
The pickle
not
vodka?
something you would ordinarily think about being tasty, but I like it.
I was talking to my buddy yesterday about. Have you ever heard of the steak shot?
I think Biff's got something to say about
No,
it.
I didn't know. I agree.
Okay.
No, I
Biff was
What, the
Biff
pickle
was
shot?
looking at me like,
I had
fucking
some. I
big
thought it was
mama.
delicious.
Biff was looking at me like, oh, you fucking roasted like
The only
that.
problem is it's a little salty.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to cut it with something, but like you don't
But
want
it's
to
supposed to
ruin.
be a shot.
But it wasn't. It wasn't
Yeah.
you. It was Dylan who was refusing to take the pickle shot, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
I think you need to cut pickle vodka with just regular straight vodka. I like it. It's
Cut it
a
with
little, it's a little
regular vodka.
salty, but yeah, you need to up it by
It's not
cutting it.
because it's too strong alcoholic wise.
Yeah, I just need to cut
Yeah.
the salt out a little bit. So by doing that, just put some more vodka in it, right?
Try the pickle juice vodka, Dylan.
That's right,
Does-
Dylan, if you're listening.
That's right. I'm being aggressive with you, Dylan.
Did the pickle juice vodka have like additional flavor to it? Like it didn't just taste like pickle juice and vodka. Like it had.
Pickle, salt,
A lot of salt.
You remember how they used to make like
your pickle.
Todd may remember what I'm talking about here. Remember when Vlasic used to kind of put out like the different styles of pickle? Maybe they still do. I haven't really bought pickles in a while.
Yeah.
But you had
Did
like
it taste like one of those flavors?
it did.
Ones?
It
Okay.
tastes to me like they have your traditional dill, but then the one I'm about to speak of, and I think I took it when I said it out loud when I actually took the shot. They used to have a flavor called Polish pickles,
Huh. I
and
remember that.
it almost tasted like the juice from a Polish Vlasic pickle.
100%
Might have
remember
been.
that.
Might have been.
I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember.
That's what Mary
I don't
Olivier
remember-
used to buy.
I honestly didn't eat a wide array of pickles growing up.
If you're interested in trying different ones now, I know they have this brand that's called Sucker Punch. They're a little on the pricey side when it comes to pickles, but some of their flavors are actually really good. They kind of specialize in spicy pickles.
Well, there was this brand that my mom always used to buy from like craft fairs and stuff called like Nichols pickles. I don't know if y'all ever had that, but they had a bunch of varieties, and she used to buy I think it was the sweet pickles.
Yeah.
And they were phenomenal.
Yeah, Mickles pickles had
I
a lot
like
of
good sweet pickles.
So shout out to Mickles Pickles if you're even still in business.
Yeah.
I mean,
They had a lot of good. They had a lot of good sweet flavors. And it was they were really good.
I'm just a straight pickle guy. Like, just give me a regular pickle. No gherkins, no sweet pickles. Just give me a pickle.
sure, you know,
And then if you want to put some salt and vodka with it and chill it and put it in the drink,
If you
I'm
want
in
to
for
chill
that
it
too.
and charge me $25 for the bottle.
But Biff, while we're on the topic of taking that pickle shot, before we started this pod, you were telling us you had quite an array of drinks on Friday night. Could you go through all
the
what you
things
had?
I had.
Yeah. And because Biff seemed kind of confused on why he might have had a little bit of a hangover the next day.
I wasn't confused. I was very fully aware. Because me and Sean were going over that when I first got here tonight. That I actually had, let's see, some of the pumpkin cream, the eggnog, yeah, which threw things off.
Sorry, I didn't make enough. You know,
You only made one pitcher. I only had two.
Well, I
two
did my
drinks.
part to not drink it and save some for everybody else.
Thank you, Patrick.
I don't know if everybody got a chance to taste. I know Patrick didn't really want any because he's
Don't worry, you'll get
he's
it out.
anti pumpkin
I
spice.
feel like I put me on the spot trying to say I drank too much that night, which I did.
No, go ahead.
But mainly, I
But-
want to
but-
blame. I
but
want to
like-
blame Dylan because Dylan, he's going to hear this podcast, and I want to blame him for it. He pours himself a giant drink
That is true.
of my Kraken when he first got there, and he's like, "I don't want all this. I'm tired." And I'm like 30 minutes in, and I'm like, "This is going to be a late night, whatever." So he pours all of it in my drink. I'm not going to waste straight rum Kraken, and
It's
so
Old Spice too. It's good
I know,
stuff.
and so and then I drank it. And it was on ice, so I had to. I wanted to drink it while it was still tasting not watered down. So I was feeling pretty good, pretty fast.
Yeah, we're not poking any fun there, Biff, because like Todd said, this is one of those nights where you just know you're going to be mixing alcohol.
Yeah, I didn't even get to finish. Let's kind of circle back to that because I bring my little trusty backpack full of beer.
Right.
I think I drank all the beers I had. I had a nice glass of eggnog. We had the pickle vodka. We played beer pong, so of course we had the cheap beer.
Beer pong,
I think we had Yingling Light, which is actually better than what we usually use. So it's just a fun night of just mixing alcohol, but it's very understandable.
Y'all didn't have the Jello shots this year. That was
because it was a Friday night. Trust me, I asked Jessica when I got home, "Did you make the Jello shots?" She said, "No, I had no time.
I had no time.
I just got off of work at 4."
Exactly. Everybody was up.
Friday night parties, man.
Just to say, I recall. So I brought the 4-pack of the 4 that I had left of the Snap and Crackle that you got me back from Brash. So I brought that, and I had 2 Yingling Hershey's Porters. By probably midnight, those were gone, and then I vaguely remember taking one of Sean's beer pong Yingling Lights home for the ride home to have with me while we. And I was not drinking and driving. We actually had Jessica's dad come and pick us up, so he served as our Uber that night. But I vaguely remember taking one of those as well. Plus, with the mixture of shots we had, it's always, and you always pretty much leave Sean's party knowing there's going to be a hangover the next day.
Yep. I don't usually feel well on Saturday. Well, Saturday morning.
I think I only had 4 Modelo's and a couple shots, and I was okay. Felt a little buzz by the time I got home, but it wasn't too bad. I expected to be worse, so I had an Uber lined up just in case I needed to get home. But I was like, oh, we're fine. It was fine.
I did do my hangover routine and drank the blue Gatorade, and then it took me probably 2 hours to finally feel like I could eat something solid.
But what did you have after you were able to eat?
I ate the giant bag of leftover chips that we all consolidated. So there was like 3 or 4 different chip types in there.
And
They made your own personal Chex Mix type thing?
It was pretty much.
and listeners, while we're talking about this, is because if you enjoyed one of our latest episodes, we discussed what was the best cure for a hangover. Sean mentioned this blue Powerade or blue Gatorade, and we talked about other foods that help absorb our hangovers pretty well.
That's a gift from the Lord.
Texas Double Whopper for Pat.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you wouldn't have gone with like Chipotle, Pat.
For as a hangover?
I mean, it
You could probably make it
it
worse,
just seems to be your go-to.
I've only had
Who cares if you shit
Chipotle. I've had Chipotle maybe once in the past month and a half. I've gone to Cava more times than Chipotle lately, just because one is new and it's a different style of cuisine. But No, like one.
Where's Top?
There's one in
That's where
Elmwood,
Zoe's closed.
and then where Zoe's Kitchen on the Vets used to be.
It's right there where what? On Homa and
Corky's,
Vets?
yeah.
Is,
Yep,
oh,
Corky's.
I don't know if
I
it's open yet, but that's where it's going to be.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah,
I used to like Corky's.
I feel like I've heard that, but I didn't realize that's where it was. Like it's not open yet. Yeah.
It might be open now, but last time I saw it wasn't. The only open is in Elmwood.
Ellen, right? That was his name.
But
See how he's doing.
Chipotle is
He's
too
still alive?
far away from the
What?
from my house compared to the Burger King.
Sorry,
So-
Todd, Biff, and I are having a side
We had a little
conversation.
side-
That's
sorry.
fine.
About Corky's?
Sorry,
Yeah.
but Corky's Barbecue. I worked there from age 15 to 18,
The barbecue turkey sandwich there was rolling.
and I have scars to prove it that I worked in the pit. I have scars somewhere, whatever.
Somewhere.
Yeah, but this manager, Alan, rest his soul. I think he died. If he didn't die,
Rest in peace if you're dead.
If you're dead.
Just in
I
case.
thought you were dead.
If you're not,
This guy
sorry.
here was dead.
If you're not, get a good nap and then wake up and
But yeah.
cross them off. Then.
But like, I tried to get Todd and Travis a job there, and I remember he was like, "Well, they share a car. It's going to be really difficult to show from."
We even told the guys he asked us that he was making a big deal of that during our interview, and we're like, it's like, well, if one of us can drive, our mom can bring us on another one on a different ship. It's not a big deal. But he just couldn't get over the fact that Todd and I shared a car. So I can't hire both of y'all to share a car.
16,
I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
You should have been like, we share a womb together. I think the car is not a problem.
It's like we live 5 minutes away.
like, dude,
we're gonna get there.
We share a car. We share a car. We have separate girlfriends. We make that work. I'm pretty sure we can make the job work.
Anyway,
Close the curtain in the middle of the
so
room.
now
you
it's
know?
a common.
Yeah, it's common now.
Or much better, much improved because that barbecue joint was overpriced.
I don't remember it being that great, but like this was like
They had some good stuff at Corky.
No,
I remember some of it, like the baked beans and pulled pork.
The
maybe?
pulled pork and brisket was really good, but the ribs were dry and overpriced. I thought.
Barbecue turkey.
Todd says barbecue.
All I know is free sandwiches at the N Fest that year was nice.
I know,
It's
yeah.
like, I know a buddy that's there working for Corky's. I'm getting free barbecue chicken sandwiches at 90-degree heat.
90-degree heat when we were jamming out to Saliva, Cold.
Right. I forget who else was there. Papa Roach was there.
Papa Roach.
Yeah.
It was
It was all those new metal gems.
Fest.
Remember the 1067 in the end? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the last
The first Voodoo Fest.
the last N Fest before Voodoo existed.
Yeah. It was like
Was I there for that? No, I don't think I was invited for that one.
No, that was like more in high school. I was like 6, 7.
Definitely didn't
Invited.
get
I don't even know if I knew you at that time.
Probably.
He was at that other school.
My invite got lost in
Yeah.
the mail. What
Yeah, well, he all lost in the mail.
Hey, we were talking about a concert earlier that's coming to Southport Hall in January. It's Lit's playing. Would you like to come to that one?
I'll think about it.
Your invite can get sent on.
I'm inviting you right now on the air, Pat.
Tell you what,
The mic is hot.
I'll give you my address off air. Send me a personal letter invite, and I'll reply back if I can make it.
I was laughing because it's like how many times have I been over there and Biff's sister-in-law has talked about Bowling for Soup like they're the best band on the planet.
Yeah.
And then it's like Todd writes, I've never even heard of them. And then wants to go see the other band.
Heard of him, just never heard of
And it's just so
I've
funny
never-
how it's like just,
They're
music
obsessed,
tastes
yeah.
are just so,
Are they
Yeah, she's obsessed.
local or
Yeah, Bowling
No, they were fairly that
They're national.
that 1985 song that was like singing about, what were the lyrics? Like not a big Limp Bizkit fan, dancing on cars and stuff, talking about some mom that's obsessed with 1985 or something.
But I think they're actually headlining that show. Huh? I think
They're headlining them.
I think Lit is actually behind Bowling for
Mhm.
Soup.
Yeah, Bowling for Soup is still popular. It's hard to believe they still release stuff. They're one of those punk bands that have 10 fans that still buy their stuff.
I'm on their website right now. You can enter to win an autographed guitar by
There you go.
Love
What's the
Band.
song? What's the song that Jimmy loves? It's called somebody. It's like named somebody's name or something. It's like Brad Pitt or something. Like what's it called? I can't remember. Of course, my phone is confiscated right now. I can't Google it.
I can Google it.
Confiscate.
Well, before we get off the topic of Sean's Halloween party, an interesting topic that I thought we could bring up on this podcast, based upon kind of what I make a collage every year of Heather and I's costumes over the years we were together, and then I'd make Todd's one for Todd as well between the costumes that Todd and Jessica have worn over the last 17 years. But when we posted that on Facebook, people started kind of commenting under it what their favorite ones were of the ones that Todd and I have worn. So I'm throwing that question out to this table. I'm sorry. As far as what were y'all's favorite Halloween costumes that y'all have worn? It doesn't necessarily have to be at Sean's party, but over the years at Sean's party.
My best was motivational speaker, Chris Morris.
Yes,
that was by far my best. I won funniest that year. Little Shop of Horrors. Still had the DVD.
Yeah, I would agree with that one.
That was my best.
Also, you came as the Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah.
That was a pretty creative one too.
Yeah. This year I was Sans costume. I got ridiculed by Sarah for that. As soon as I walked in. Not horribly, but
You got to be the photographers for the group photos, so she didn't have a.
But I was going to be the saltwater filtration block of salt. Just be like a big giant.
Just wear white.
Just like NAC, it's like NACL on your t-shirt.
Right. But yeah, so next year I'll have a costume.
I have 3 that I really liked in no particular order.
Of course.
Oh, don't steal Mike's fucking thunder.
He's not here, so
Somebody's got to do it for him.
Obviously, Jessica and I were Rumpelstiltskin and Belle from the series Once Upon a Time. And I put so much effort into that costume. I had to. It's probably the last time I painted my face.
I was gonna say, is that the one with the green face?
Yes, I had
What did you paint your face with?
It was green glitter face paint.
Bull semen? No, how can we forget we polished that off at the party? Anyway, I digress.
But let's not forget the pants that Todd wore that night.
They were tight leather pants. Yeah. So I had the green glitter face paints, the tight leather pants. I had a wig. I went all out. It had a nice little vest that I got from Goodwill. It was a really good costume. That show was actually really good for like the first.
Those pants were kind of revealing, aren't they?
It's not the first time. It's not the only time I've worn
pants.
revealing pants. I wore that for Rumpelstiltskin, the Deep. What was the other one I wore?
Moss Man?
The Moss Man. That's what I was saying. The Moss Man.
Moss Man, he wore green stockings with a pair of tighty whities.
That wasn't one of my favorites though, but I also I've worn this costume several times to both Comic-Con, to work when we have Halloween, to Sean's party. I was Seneca Crane for Hunger Games. Jessica was Katniss Everdeen. Love that costume. The beard just makes it. Wes Bentley is very, very underrated actor.
I love you, Wes. A love letter to Wes Bentley.
Love letter to
if he's listening.
And
I'm
of
sure
course,
he is.
Yeah.
Obviously my daughter had that Frozen frenzy for a while, so Jessica and I dressed up as Prince Hans and Anna from Frozen. I put a lot of work into that costume as well. Got me a nice little white jacket from Goodwill. Grew the mutton chops.
I'm glad no one showed up as Barbie and Ken Friday night, because that's going to be so overplayed.
You mean the douchebag Ken with the coat and the glasses?
Whatever version of Barbie and Ken you want. Yeah, that one. Whatever version of Barbie and Ken you want to. Someone's going
the macho watching Ken or whatever you call it.
Heather went to some kind of Halloween luncheon on Friday with some people she worked with, and she said that there was a lot of Barbie and Ken people there.
I'm sure there's a lot of Frenchmen, because a lot of people are out on Frenchmen on Friday night doing stuff like just like bars and whatnot. I'm sure there was a ton.
The Western pink suit was like all over Spirit this year.
Oh yeah,
with the cowboy hat and everything.
Same thing at Party City when I was I went to the one in the West Bank like an hour before I got here, because I was running like little costume ideas and I couldn't find a parrot. Last minute, of course. So I'm like, looking online, I can't find it. Oh, there's one in the West Bank. So I had to drive all the way out there just for a fucking $13 parrot.
Patrick, I have to say, was styling and profiling.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't think there's any other answer for Patrick.
He'll go beware.
So I don't really remember any other Halloween parties I've been to other than Sean's.
I remember you in an Apollo Creed costume.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
It was.
That was at
that was an 80s party.
That was an 80s party at a. Huh?
I think it was one of those.
No, it's down the street. It used to be called.
What was that place called? It's right behind
Mobile One.
Yeah.
It's been through some
Blue Angle
Bullseye, or is it called that now?
That might be the name now. But no, I went as Apollo Creed for that. No, I would never go there.
Right behind Mobile One, like when you turn on the service
it's on
road.
the side street.
It's like the first block behind it.
You know where Cafe East is off the service road? It's the parking lot right there is also like the back entrance of it.
Blue Bengal used to be right there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's right close to the same area. But yeah, so come think about it. I have a lot of costumes where like I'm like shirtless with baby oil all over my upper body.
And tight pants too.
Well, the shorts weren't tight. The pants from the Coco Beware were very tight. If you're listening, Party City employees, that one size fits all is a lie, and it's not adult. It's not adult unisex. That is made for ladies and skinny people in general. It was hardly anyway. My big ass was getting into those things, but somehow I made without them ripping. So whatever.
Quads, into those tight pants.
I squat a lot.
Do you need Camden to tell you have big quads?
I would prefer Camden not tell me I have big quads. Thank you very much. But I'll say, since I don't have a lot of, it's a long story about that. It's fine. Yeah, it's a thing. I'll tell you off air. It's Todd just ruining my dreams. Crushing any compliments I get, just really ruining it for me. But no, I'd say for me it was probably probably my Coco Beware costume. That was great. The last one from Friday probably more than the other because I had that headpiece. And shout out to my friend Caitlin. I called her up at like 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, hey, do you have anything like parrot related? And she's like, I have this headpiece. I'm like, I saw it. I'm like, yes, I need it. What do you need? I'm like, well, I need it tonight.
I need it now.
So shout out to her because that was probably the centerpiece of it made the look.
Oh, yeah.
On the shrimp with the white shrimp boots. But that's my answer.
All right, well, I'll say 3 quick ones as well. 17 years with my wife, and we've always kind of matched during Halloween. Number 3, I'm going to go with Two-Face and Catwoman. I put a lot of effort into that one. It didn't quite come out exactly the way I wanted it to, just because like the hair was supposed to be purple, and if you look at pictures of my hair, it looks like it's almost blue. But I think we put a lot of effort into that costume, and it came out pretty well. And I'm a huge Tommy Lee Jones fan. As we do an actors top 5, we'd definitely be in it. Second one I'm going to go with is Quail Man and Patty Mayonnaise from Nickelodeon's Doug. I thought that was a really creative choice that we did.
I think that's my favorite by you. That you've done.
Quail Man and Patty Mayonnaise will come in at number 2.
He even wears underwear over his pants.
And then I think my favorite one comes from American Horror Story. I was Papa Legba, and my wife Heather was, I think her name was Cordelia. She was the blind girl, Cordelia Fox, who ran the school with the witch of the coven. And she had goes blind at some point during the series, so we had the acid marks on her face. Another really just creative costume that I thought we did a really good job with. And Papa Legba was my all-time favorite character on American Horror Story.
Rest in peace, Lance Reddick.
Rest in peace, Lance Reddick.
Sir Host, what's been your favorite?
The only one I can't think of, I'd have to go back and look at old pictures to think of all the ones, but the one that sticks out is the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. Just because that one was like a friggin' $60 bag costume from Spirit Halloween, and it has a mask with it, a half mask. But wearing my own black slacks and black shoes with it, it looks pretty damn good. And, wearing it to this party, I've worn it to a movie party, I've worn it to Comic-Con. I forget, I've worn it at least 5 times for a costume. And I think like what I was telling people, the mark of a good costume at Comic-Con is how many people want to take pictures with you and they even think you work there. Yeah. Like, oh man, that's a great costume. Can you mind if I take a picture? And I'm like, when I wore that year, I probably took 30 pictures with people. It was crazy. And it's like, this is a $60 costume from Spirit.
Yeah.
You, like I said, your party is probably the only one I've ever really been to or that I go to on any kind of regularity. But now I've got a year to plan it out. I'm going to actually take this way more serious for next year and try to do something much more coordinated. I think I have a couple ideas to roll out, but
look, I keep a note in my phone everywhere that says costume ideas, and then I just randomly will write something every time it pops in my head, open it back up.
Well, the biggest reason is because I got to get next year's a big year. We got Blurred Fest 2024 in New Orleans. We got to get ready for that. Biff, I don't know if you heard, there's a event called Blurred Fest.
Tell us why not.
Not to admit any of us, me included, until this gentleman at the Comic-Con and card show that we attended a couple months back. gave me a card and it says Blurred-Fest 2024. I was like, I know what a blurred is, and I didn't think it was it's a natural thing. I didn't know it was, but yeah, Blurred-Fest is Black Nerd.
Black Nerd.
Mm-hmm. So there's a Blurred-Fest every year, and we're going next year. So I hope everyone, whenever we find the date, we get to plan it out and see, and we'll all be in attendance together.
I mean, is it okay if we go?
I think it's okay.
Welcome back, Wagoneers. Did you happen to look at the New Orleans Saints Pete Carmichael offense today? Like the best it's looked all season.
One listener out there, no, we didn't, but okay, keep going.
I know one player that didn't light it up. I want to point it to the Wagoneer, to my opposite. Chris Olave did not light it up today.
No, he did not.
And Sean had some things to say about it.
What happened with Chris Olave?
I'm sick of in
today, right?
one of my fantasy leagues that I have him in that I have to decide for 2 receivers every week since I have the now 3-headed monster of McCaffrey, Breece Hall, and Jonathan Taylor. So I got to fill in the 2 receiver spots with a choice of DJ Moore, Chris Olave, Pickens, and Michael Pittman. And the projections always put Moore and Olave at like 15 point something, but then Pickens and Michael Pittman at like 13. And it's like Pittman outplays Olave every freaking week. And I'm so sick of starting him like he did today. And I should have known watching the game, them playing the Colts. Oh, look, Pittman touchdown, Pittman catch. Olave gets hit in the face with a ball.
He lost
like he's some kid playing dodgeball on the playground.
I mean, he had a stellar 5 for 46 yards today.
That was last week too. He had like 7 catches for 57 yards. I'm so lucky it's PPR, so that equated to 12 points. But he's constantly getting outshined by Pittman and Pickens on my bench. Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, the receivers today, Shaheed had 3 for 153, 1 touchdown. Thomas had 4 for 68. Kamara had 4 for 51 and a touchdown. Olave 5 for 46, no touchdown.
Well, I mean, the ball that bounced off his helmet was there was nothing but pay dirt.
Yeah, that would have been a touchdown. That would have been a touchdown.
Well, y'all know by now I'm the big Ohio State supporter at the table, and I love the fact that the Saints drafted some Buckeyes.
All that Buckeye nut. Go ahead.
But guys,
isn't that what a Buckeye is?
Olave is going to be fine. He's going to be fine.
He'll live to play another day.
You got to chill, bro.
As a matter of fact, I don't know what position.
70 in Kenna, bro. So.
They did try a deep ball yet again to him that didn't connect, but then Shaheed, it's like, pitch and catch, touchdown.
I'm not blaming Olave for that. Though that looked like it was a little off target.
Yeah,
but did he run a bad route?
Everything looked fine. He just turned for the ball and it was like, oh, where is it? And I was like, doink right up the head.
I could say that deep ball, he was kind of like trying to catch it at his knees. His hands were down, almost hitting the turf.
So. On a bad throw by car, which never happens.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna ever really shit on Olave. That dude's been money since he got in the league not for fantasy, but for the Saints in general. He's been a blessing. So
just fantasy wise, that he'll go off. When I decide to bench him one day. So
I think he'll be a guy that you're just glad to have on your roster, especially if your team is playoff bound. He'll probably be a guy down the stretch that'll really start coming alive more.
Any team would want Chris Olave, so it's not like he's a bad player at all. He's a phenomenal player. It's just from a fantasy standpoint, he's peaks and valleys for you. Now, some of that is because of Carr and how little time he gets or whatever like that.
Well, then again, Pickens had 1 catch today. It was for a 22-yard touchdown, but then Pickett got hurt, so Mason Rudolph played half the game. So if he's starting, just Pickens will sit the bench definitely after that. No, I think Mason Rudolph got in the game. I thought I saw.
Mason Rudolph was still playing with him?
I thought I saw that scrolling at the bottom of the screen. But
I didn't think Trubisky was still on the Steelers, is he?
I thought he moved. But speaking of fantasy, and another player that goes off every 1/7 in the blue moon, Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill went off, and he was in our tight end position.
3 weeks in a row, I'd have to say he's been balling.
Let's talk about ups and downs in the tight end position because. While we're in our first segment today, we talked a little bit about Sean's Halloween party. Now, whether this was alcohol doing the talking or not,
Yes.
Todd and
Absolutely.
A little bit.
Todd and I opened up a trade discussion with Biff and his brother Dylan for the idea of trading George Kittle straight up for Alvin Kamara.
That was Trubisky that played.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Because
Same thing.
Todd and I are weak at the RB2 spot, Biff's weak at the tight end spot. So we were, negotiating at the Halloween party. I don't know if it was all hot air.
It wasn't all hot air. It was slightly cracking eggnog induced.
It was cracking air.
Cracking air.
Blame it on the eggnog.
But Dylan's still for it.
It was delicious.
Dylan's still for the trade. My dad said, "Hell no, we're not getting rid of Kamara." And so we have a three-headed monster called our
So it sounds
brain
like
trust. That is our.
Now that you picked up Taysom Hill, I'd say.
Well, now that Taysom Hill is seeming to be in at the red zone all the time.
He was on one of the fade lists I saw because it was like, oh, we had 2 good weeks in a row. There's no way you can have a third. Well, screw you, fantasy experts.
Right. And so, like, this week, I mean, and he's throwing deep balls. Terrible throw, but threw a deep ball. So he just has a lot of upside for tight end. But no, I don't want to say that it was all cracking talking, but after the events that happened today, Kamara putting up 2 touchdowns, 20-something points of fantasy, Taysom Hill putting up 20-something points, it's just hard to get rid of that, even though we're stacked this year. We're usually in last place. Can we just, like, for all our listeners, a little fantasy history for the Hit Them Chins. We are, like, the worst team in the league every year. I looked at our history. We're either last or, like, consolation bracket barely. And so, like, this year we're in first place. We're undefeated. We're probably going to be 8-0. And we're just all, like, feeling like we're in the twilight zone. We don't know what's going on.
They'll blow it in the playoffs.
We'll blow it in the playoffs.
If you're not first, you're last.
That's right. But we drafted well. And even though Justin Jefferson was first pick.
And given that Justin Jefferson's still on
Right.
IR.
And he's still on IR. We still... I don't know.
Like
in there.
I don't want to. I mean, I'm pretty sure your receivers are probably okay for the most part too. But this injury to Kirk Cousins would have me worried about Justin Jefferson even coming back this year. Because if the Vikings get themselves out of playoff contention, I just don't see them risking Justin Jefferson at this point.
Why would you?
Yeah,
I wouldn't. I mean,
they're not going anywhere. I mean, the Lions, barring a just complete disaster and fall off on them, they should win that division because the Packers look awful right now. The Bears are awful, and they're currently down 14-0 to the Chargers in the second quarter.
Saints play them next week, so let's hope the Saints can play like they played today against a shitty Bears team.
If the Saints lose to the Bears, is it home or is it away?
I think it's a home game.
it's a home game.
Yeah, I
for
think
the
it's a
Saints.
home game. So.
If they lose to the Bears, Carmichael and Dennis Allen should be shipped with the Bears on the plane to go back to Chicago.
Well, we're playing against Sean and Patrick next week, and if y'all do decide to start Justin Fields, he'll probably go.
Fields will
He'll
be
probably
back.
drop 40.
Fields will be back and have 4 touchdowns.
What's happened this year in fantasy is that Todd and Travis's team, whoever they play, has the best week of their year. So
That's just, I mean,
we dropped 190 on them.
me and Travis are just pretty unlucky when it comes to fantasy football in general. I mean, one thing I was going to tell you, Biff, I mean, it seems like your brother, your dad drafted a really, really solid team this year.
Rarely.
But I feel like everything's kind of falling in place for you guys.
Even given the first pick fatality.
But I don't wanna-
First big
I don't want to jinx you, but the year me and Travis won, the lone year that me and Travis won, we drafted Adrian Peterson #1 overall. He had a really, really great year.
That was when he was still in the Vikings.
We came back around the second round, got Peyton Manning in the second round. That was the first year he was on Denver and shattered all these records. Everything just kind of fell in place for us that year. Plus, we had Demaryius Thomas, who was his #1 receiver, who racked up all
And then we got a late round steal with Eddie Lacy when he was a rookie on the Packers.
Yep.
He had a really good year.
everything. And we had San Fran's defense with had Navarro Bowman.
And we actually traded Reggie Bush his first year with the Lions. We traded him straight up for Vincent Jackson. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Demaryius Thomas.
Demaryius Thomas too. Yeah. Two
That's why my Vincent Jackson jersey in the
Bad luck
closet.
for people.
Oh yeah, bad luck in fantasy. Bad luck to
They're real
some
life.
guy on our team is coming down with
Speaking
you.
of dead guys, Matthew Perry.
What a
Matthew
segue.
Perry died this week.
That is a professional segue.
Speaking of dead
To a
guys.
Is that a professional segue to a shot?
So
Possibly.
a shot possible.
But yeah, So
no, Matthew Perry died this week. I probably were
Died yesterday.
Yeah, or died yesterday. So when this airs, it'll be a week later. But
What was your favorite piece of Matthew Perry?
probably it's gotta be his friends.
On his body? I mean, what do you mean piece?
his
He's
hair.
got a nice build.
Yeah.
He's got a nice quad.
No, because
What
I'm
dish?
willing. But I'm
Bush got a nice spot.
You can go fuck yourself.
But I'm willing to bet that if we went around this table, most of y'all would probably say Friends. But I was not.
I don't know.
I was not a Friends fan.
I would say
Go for it.
Almost Heroes.
I was about to say, we share the same brain. Who can forget Almost Heroes, Chris Farley's last movie?
A lowercase.
I don't remember
Because-
quotes from that movie, I'm sure.
I don't remember.
Because I'm actually
I've
gonna
seen it way too many times.
throw one out that y'all would probably say I'm a little on the feminine side for this, but
Oh yeah.
17 again. That was a movie with him and Zac
Oh,
Efron,
with Zac
where,
Efron, yeah.
where he actually reverts back to his teenage years and becomes Zac Efron's character, but he's still trying to hook up with his wife.
That's his
who's-
best work.
that was my favorite Matthew Perry movie. I mean, I think it was kind of a hidden gem because
Is it the opposite of 13 going on 30? They went backwards.
They went 13 going on, or 30 going on
Basically,
13.
13 going on 30.
well, I was one who looked at that movie and said, "Oh, I have no interest in this movie." And the
Watched
movie,
it and enjoyed it.
I watched it, and it kind of sucks you in. Like I'm being
Yeah,
honest
man.
here.
Then again, yeah, we all have guilty pleasures like
Sure
that.
enough, in my manhood to say that.
I mean, I'm
That's
looking
fine.
at his filmography, and although
Most of it is terrible.
Although
Except
I
for
never-
There you go. A good top 5 is like guilty pleasure movies that you'd be embarrassed to really say. But let's put it out there for the world of like, oh, movies we love that we're embarrassed to tell people.
Almost Heroes, is that what you're saying?
Not that one, no.
I mean, the only thing, I mean,
I'll throw out the
Friends
Wedding
and
Planner with Matthew
Friends,
McConaughey.
but Jessica did, so I
And
picked
J-Lo.
episodes here and there. I'm gonna probably have to go with Friends.
Fools Rush In was a decent movie. That would probably be the one thing I remember because I didn't watch Friends, but I know of it. But looking at his movie list, Almost Heroes and probably Fools Rush In for me.
Almost Heroes was because I'm such a Farley nut.
Yeah. It was released after Farley died, wasn't it?
Released after
Like right after his death.
Yeah.
In
The
like
last
98.
thing he did, and what's really interesting is, and I don't know if anyone knows this, but I know way too much about Chris Farley, is he was actually slated to be Shrek. Before,
Oh, really?
Really?
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers. And so there's actually, if you look it up on YouTube, I think it's still up there. It's interesting stuff about like him doing voice acting lines for Shrek. It would have been a way different character because it would have been kind of more slapsticky and like kind of like Chris Farley.
Like he actually did some table reads and
Yeah,
stuff.
table read. Yeah, like they were priming him to do Shrek. And so,
It's like the dog's bark.
You know, the whole thing.
Tori talks, but the wagon rolls on.
that's right. Tori's having a blast.
Tori is in a full-on debate conversation with someone.
Mhm. That's what the kids do nowadays. They call each other on the phone and play Roblox together.
Oh, God,
Get Roblox.
It's the new Skype.
you got Roblox?
It's like
You got Roblox?
they don't do the full headphones like online gaming, but it's pretty close. Yeah.
You got Roblox? Have you ever played Roblox?
Sometimes I don't have an account. She keeps begging me to get an account.
My niece's daughter has it, and like that's all she wants for Christmas is like Robux,
Mhm.
so she can keep buying Robux.
Oh yeah.
And she tries to get me to play, and like
You got Robux?
she's 7, so but I understand how it works. But if I don't do something the way she wants, like,
Yeah.
I get chastised every time. Why are you doing this? You're doing it wrong. She takes the controller from me. I'm like, yo, you're
Her mom has
7.
an
Like,
account, and my mom has an account that play with her, and they get reamed by the child if they don't do things right.
oh yeah,
Like, Mimi, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to go over there. I'm like, my mom's 71. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing.
How would she know that?
it's like the world will end if they don't do something right in Roblox.
Mm-hmm. And she said she actually told me that the other day. She's like, for Christmas, I want a hoverboard and for you to get a Roblox account. I was like, oh, I can do number 2.
Yeah.
I can always say, nah, I don't feel like playing right now. But I'll,
Number 2, what, you would take a shit on that Roblox?
yes, I will take a shit on the Roblox account. Yeah.
Well, aside from Matthew Perry passing away, I don't know how many of y'all are Night Court fans.
Yes.
Kid, but Richard Mall
Yeah.
also passed away. He played Bull.
Bull,
in Night
yeah.
Court. The rest of it's Richard Mall. I mean,
Wasn't he in the new one too? The remake of Night Court? I thought
pretty sure. It
they
was.
rebooted it, and I know they had a couple of original casts in there.
Yeah, Bull was my favorite character on the show.
But I just found it today. I was 8 years old when I found this out. I was a big Batman the Animated Series fan. One of the best cartoons ever.
I heard it was good, though.
I mean, I don't remember that much about it,
But
but
Richard Malden did the voice of Travis's very favorite DC character, Two-Face.
oh,
He voiced the
I don't know.
Two-Face Batman animated series character. So rest in peace, Richard Malden.
Rest in peace. My favorite DC character was Two-Face, and favorite character on Night Court was Bull.
Rest in peace also to Richard Roundtree from Shaft.
Oh, yeah?
He died earlier this week as well. So it's been a tough week for. Yeah.
And, one story that kind of traumatized me a little bit this morning was what's this guy's name? Adam Johnson for the he played in the Pittsburgh Penguins organization.
Yeah.
And he's playing currently in a English league. I mean, he died last night getting his throat cut by a skate.
So it actually does happen.
I mean, it's happened in the past with with Zednik and who was that goalie that used to play back in the day. It was like way back in the day. He got his throat cut too, but they both survived.
I need to totally spin this in a weird Happy Gilmore direction.
I was afraid.
That's what I was thinking. It was like he's the only guy that tried to take off his skate and tried to stab somebody.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't. It's a totally morbid thing to do. Me and Sean are thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, same thing. They had a guy early this week got hit in the face with a skate, and it just missed his eyeball. As the guy's eye was completely shut, black, but they said he's going to have his full vision, so he actually didn't get hit on the eye. But that was actually in the
Hit with
NHL.
a skate?
Yeah, he had a skate to the eye.
Like it flew off of someone's foot and.
Or did he get hit and like the guy kind of?
Or
The guy,
yeah,
like,
I don't know. The guy felt like was falling over and like it just kind of grazed his
like
face.
Roundhouse did.
I didn't see the video of it.
He was the guy. He was the guy that fell, and I think as the guy was falling, he caught a skate as it was getting lifted off the ice right on his face. I want to say he plays for the Devils, actually.
That's probably like the most terrifying thing from a hockey standpoint, other than maybe taking a puck from a shot
Oh yeah.
right to the face. Like dudes, respect to the dudes that don't play when they kind of like face mask or visor on, but maybe I'm not man enough. I would
A
absolutely
slap
play
shot
with-
to the face.
It's
Yeah.
mandatory now coming in though, isn't it? Like if you didn't come in, if you came in past a certain date, you had to wear like at least a visor.
I don't know.
Or do they flip that rule?
I don't remember. But does Bedard wear one? I'm not sorry. I don't remember
You
that.
start to see most players now are wearing the half visor,
Yeah.
which is good. But this guy's name was Jacob Locko, plays for the Boston Bruins, and he actually got his hit in the face by a Chicago Blackhawk earlier this week. And you can see there's a picture of what his eye looks like at the moment.
Jesus.
That's
It
rough.
looks like
Can't
it's-
see that on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll put that online for everybody to see. That is
Nice.
gnarly.
You can see the cut goes right underneath his eye onto the top of his nose, just missing the eyeball, but the eyeball is completely black shut right
Oh,
now.
wow.
His skin's blacker than me.
Blacker than one of the wagons.
So, yeah, they've been.
It reminds me of that. What was the guy? Matt Mitrione in MMA that had his orbital bone broken, and it looked his eye looked like a friggin' ball, like a knot. It was swollen shut. It was like Google that picture.
I'll pass for right now. I think I'm good.
So, yeah, we've had a lot of hockey injuries over the last week, a lot of celebrity deaths, but not to get too far from the fantasy football conversation. While we were talking about this earlier, we kind of discussed who are our biggest busts that we've ever had and throughout our fantasy football careers. Does anybody want to start with one that they can think of?
Any wide receiver for the Chargers?
Look, that would be one of mine. You have Keenan Allen.
He's playing right now.
Mike Williams.
Keenan Allen, as a matter of fact, one of my coworkers was very adamant, like if he's available in the fourth round, you got to take him, kind of thing. Well, he burned us last year. He got hurt in week 1, pulled his hamstring.
Like with a clap?
Yeah, that too.
With the clap.
But he ended up pulling his hamstring in week 1, and I think he ends up going on to miss something around 10 weeks of the season. Of course, then he returns somewhere around week 10 or 11 and ends up starting to tear it up. At this point, our team is already out of playoff contention. So we kind of held that against him to the point where we'll never draft him again. But if I had to say the biggest one that I can think of off the top of my head, I think we spent the 5th round pick on him a few years back. It was right after Wes Welker left the Patriots to go to the Broncos.
Oh yeah.
And we thought Danny Amendola was going to be the next Wes Welker. So he's rated on the sheets about this position, saying, a lot of the experts are saying he's going to be the next Wes Welker. So I think we spent the 5th round pick on Danny Amendola, and he ended up being like a pretty early season cut because he just wasn't doing anything.
No, that's why we actually drafted. That was the year we drafted Vincent. We traded for Vincent Jackson, and we won.
Oh, so
that was actually the year we won. How can we forget the 1st round pick that we spent on the Carolina Panthers?
Well, that was a screw up. That computer.
That wasn't a fantasy bust. That was called dial-up internet.
That's how long we were playing fantasy football. We're talking about dial-up internet.
Right. That's how long.
Was it like 2nd overall Carolina Panthers defense?
That was because Todd and I actually it was 2nd overall. That was when we actually they had the ranking function on the apps or on the site. So we decided to just play around with it, and we ranked defenses, and we made the mistake of not taking the rankings out. So then the dial-up internet freezes. Right, it froze in the first round. Froze for the first pick overall. Whoever had that, I don't even really remember. But Todd and I had the 2nd pick, and because our computer froze, Carolina Panthers defense was selected.
Carolina, lock them up.
Championship.
Which, guys, really sucks to think about because nowadays with the how the advance in technology, if anything like that happened to happen, the commissioner could go back in, freeze the draft themselves, and let restart the clock, things like that. But back in the day, we didn't have those capabilities, so we were stuck with the Panthers defense.
Dan Morgan, championship.
I have to talk about
now. Look, in that defense though, the Panthers defense was probably pretty good that year. You just wouldn't take him in the first round.
Yeah.
The whole reason we changed our team or made our team name First Pick Fatalities this year is because for the past probably decade, it feels like our first pick has always gotten hurt
or been a bust
or just been a bust for the like every year. And so this year, like our name said, our first pick, Justin Jefferson, it was 3 good weeks, I'd say, but at the same time is now out for the whole freaking year, basically. Cousins done. So, but yeah, so like mine is like, I can say it owed to David Johnson, who we took over Le'Veon Bell when Le'Veon Bell went nuts for the Steelers, and David Johnson tore his ACL in the first game, and then Adrian Peterson and
I can say I was with you on that. It wasn't this league, but it was in like 2016, whatever year that a guy in my work league, he had 1st overall, and he took Le'Veon Bell instead of David Johnson, and I was at 2, and I was like so excited that I got David Johnson, and I got a game out of him.
I know. I texted Sean. I was like, are you serious? David Johnson's hurt? Sean's like, I got him in another league, so I feel your pain. It's like, good Lord. And then we were all about Le'Veon Bell the whole offseason.
Yeah.
So this year we sucked to where we were like, all right, Justin Jefferson, we're going to go for it. And so he got hurt too. So we're still winning, luckily, but we've had like multiple fantasy busts. I can't even figure out. Probably the biggest one would be the David Johnson pick. Because like Le'Veon Bell, we had the first pick because we were always last.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he burned a lot of people that year.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems like whoever we pick first gets hurt, and he got hurt this year. And Christian McCaffrey's still healthy
gave everyone a scare last week, but he's still doing his thing.
Yeah. Sean, I'm thinking back to like some of our teams. I don't know if we've had
what I was going to share is 2019's 4-10 team. That was probably the worst I've ever done in any fantasy league.
Yeah,
because we got an A+ draft grade from drafting. I had it in my head. It was I think Todd Gurley was our first pick. Then we took Amari Cooper and who was still on the Raiders.
Yeah,
and Julio Jones, and then we took Melvin Gordon 4th. Melvin Gordon was holding out, but he was coming back.
Yeah.
But Yahoo A+ draft grade. Oh, this team's going to be unstoppable, and we go 4-10.
Yeah, them's the breaks.
Because then 2019 is when Gurley just decided to die. He signs a huge contract, and then his knees fall apart. So
To stay on the sports topic, I'm gonna kind of throw a curveball here. Biff, you weren't here for this and we're recorded, but you might have heard when we were talking about it. We got a few minutes left in this segment. I kind of want to, since Mike's not here.
Yeah.
But I want to discuss, because hopefully by the time this airs, he will know his pick, and maybe we'll be recording and talking about it on air. But I want to talk about what ideas you think Mike's going to have for his team, or what you think he may have chosen. You guys can chime in as well on what y'all think he may have picked for his hockey team.
Okay. You want to go first, Ed?
We're not doing this on a Mike episode.
No, we're gonna talk about
speculation.
Yeah, I just want to do some speculation about
What
that.
team you
Because
think
what
he
team
picked?
you think he might pick, or what you're thinking? Like, we can talk about that with Mike in person. But like, I was just running through the scores of hockey right now, and I'm looking at some of these teams, and I'm like, man, Travis thinks he's got his team locked down.
He said not Canada,
We're
right?
saving the reasons. We're saving the reasons for like the next episode.
Yeah.
Or you want me to give you the reasons now?
Whatever you want.
You'll give the
You got a few
Okay.
minutes.
So I have my three top choices are the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
One, because Mike specified that if he was to choose a team, he wants it to be relatively close. And obviously there's not. I mean, Dallas is probably the closest team, maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
But I mean, Tampa's probably fairly close compared to all the other
To the rest,
scattered
yeah.
around the country. Plus, they've won 2 recent Stanley Cups. And what was Mike's truck named back in high school?
White Lightning.
I don't remember that.
White Lightning.
That's so on brand for Mike.
So,
Hey, you black hammer.
With the subs in the back.
There's light. There's
I had subs.
Wasn't that Jesse Ventura in Major League Two?
Mike,
Yeah.
what's that Jaguar?
Hey,
Two.
black hammer.
Mike,
Black Hammer, White Lightning.
that Jaguar was tacky.
So, Biff, like I said, you may not hear. So, Mike did say that he was not picking any Canadian teams. We gave him a list of teams that we kind of blacklisted
That
for
were
him
off limits.
that we prefer he not pick,
Right.
like Vegas, just because
Vegas, yeah.
because Vegas. What else did we say? I threw out that he couldn't pick the Red Wings or the Blackhawks, and that was purely because
he ruled out all Canadian teams, which you might have just said. But,
yeah,
but he did say he
Racist.
liked the Blackhawks logo. So
true. He might go with that.
We see that was
Not
my
racist.
second choice. Like obviously the Blackhawks logo is very catchy, and
Mhm.
Mike did say he liked the Blackhawks logo, so that's also my top 3. But my number 1 choice though, I think, is the Nashville Predators, because
I was thinking that one too.
Mike was
Preds.
looking at the cool logo,
The logo and
Nashville
everything.
is relatively close. They got a good
There's
color
the
scheme
South.
with the jerseys.
I think the biggest thing, because that's going to be one of my options too, is the fact that Mike isn't the country music and Nashville is like the
Nashville's
mecca of
country,
country
yeah.
music.
Yeah, so I think most everybody thinks that he's probably the Predators.
That was the
I'm-
only one I was going to throw out. Was
I'm gonna
Predators.
throw out the Coyotes only because of the logo,
Mhm.
and Mike loves to go ow. I could see Mike
They got a cool
celebrating a goal with doing an ow all the time.
and they're fairly good right now.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah.
terrible right now.
But how sweet was
What-
that?
Hmm?
How sweet was their old logo?
Oh,
Yeah, those 90s logos.
You talking about the pixelated one?
Yeah.
My other suggestion or thought might be maybe he'll take the Panthers, just because obviously Jess and I made to him about the team for being from Miami,
Yeah.
Mike being Cuban, there's a large Cuban population there, things like that. They've got a player that I think he would probably rally around and take a liking to in Kachuk. That's out there. I don't think he's definitely not taking the Kraken. At least I hope he doesn't take the Kraken. Please don't take the Kraken, Mike.
But so look,
The Minnesota Wild.
Segueing off of that, the Kraken comes in at my 3rd option for Mike because of the fact that they've got awesome uniforms. They've
Mhm.
got an awesome name with awesome logos.
The fans in the arena get rowdy.
And then I've heard people do this before. A lot of people did it with the Knights when they said, you know what, I haven't watched hockey before, but the Knights are the new team. I'm a new fan. I'm coming in with this. So Mike, being a new fan, might want to adapt to the new team. So I think that's an option.
Another option too, I think for the Kraken maybe, is that they're in the same conference as our favorite team. So
Yeah.
you have a good rivalry to kind of go back and forth with us and talk shit to us about with our teams.
There's no shit talking right now.
Well, not for you, but
So let me segue off of that too. So
Who the
I
hell knows
also
about San Jose?
So I also agree with y'all that I think the Preds come in at number 2 for me. But my top choice, and I may be off with this, but they also play in the same division as our favorite teams. They have had awesome logos in the past. They're right next to Disneyland. They're playing some great hockey right now. Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Plus, there's the movie franchise.
That's a good shout. The movie tie-in would be good. He could probably watch it with Alex and Lucas. The jerseys are cool. The throwbacks are amazing.
Throwbacks are the best.
The
Absolutely.
jersey with the wobbling character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
some of the best in hockey.
Maybe he relates to Goldberg. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't think Mike was ever addicted to meth, though.
Jeez. That we know of.
But I'm willing to bet that one of the teams that we've mentioned here is going to be his choice.
Yeah. So hopefully by the time this episode drops, we'll be with Mike recording another episode. He'll get to hear this, and then we'll kind of figure out what Mike's team will be.
He's not going to pick the Columbus Blue Jackets?
Hopefully not.